Hey YouTube, I'm back with another set of deck profile videos I'm going to be doing in the next couple of days here. So, after unboxing all the Academy of Diva extra boosters and then looking at all the cards that I pulled, I've decided to just build all the decks that are available and then update the ones that I had from last year and from years past. So from what was pulled, Prism's got big updates, so they've been around for a while now, but they didn't really get a whole lot. They did get some changes last year. This year, the changes are a little bit more substantial. Duos changed a lot. Meer and Red are kind of split up now into two different decks. And then there's a new Legion deck as well for duos. That is not too heavy on the whole duo subclan, so stay tuned for that one if you're interested in seeing a Legion focused duo deck. Doing that in a future video. As well as Prisms, they're coming back. And then the new ones, the main deck is the Academy one with the Harmony style. So I actually built two different Harmony ones. One will be the Loris build, which is the typical GB2 Vanguard one. This is probably the more popular one. And the other one is going to be a Liddy, Sincere Grower Liddy one. So most people, they just kind of like throw these two together and call that the deck. And I may eventually do that to build a more competitive deck, but just to show like what's possible, what you can actually build, I did separate them out and make two completely separate decks. So those will be in a future video coming up here. So today I'm going to focus on the new Meer deck, and we'll be doing Red in another video. Because Meer is an interesting deck. This card was actually kind of hyped pretty big when it was announced. But in playtesting the deck, this one, in my opinion, is actually the weakest of the newer decks. Like, I would consider the Legion deck. Legion duos are better than this one, and then Red is also better than this one. It's just more reliable. But duo Eternal Sister Meer and True Sister Meer are still a pretty fun Bermuda Triangle deck. It's not all that competitive, but it is pretty good. I tried to build it as good as it could get. So this is what I came up with. So, for duo Eternal Sister Meer, this is the new card that came out in Academy of Divas. She's still limit break based, and her limit break is kind of like a loop, the ability to loop a break ride every turn. And the break ride is the original Meer, so that's duo True Sister Meer. So you need to run both cards at max copies, especially the break ride. The break ride is really the main one that you need to run 4 of, mainly because the new card's effect, the limit break effect, is so heavily dependent on riding the break ride as your first grade 3 that if you have to ride this first, it's kind of like if you're playing as the Cross and you have to ride the N as your first Vanguard, it kind of messes everything up. So, and having to re-ride the break ride later and then try to do it again is actually really bad. So most of the time, if you have to ride this first, you'll just be using her once per turn skill, and otherwise you'd be striding every other turn or so. So that's the grade 3 lineup. It's just 4 or 8 Meer. For grade 2s, I am running the new duo Beloved Child of the Sea Palace Minamo. This deck, I mean, this card is actually pretty good. Like, it has the counter charge, so basically when something gets bounced, you can counter blast 1. This card will get 5k, and then you can unflip if you reveal 3 of the card that was returned. So it's a way to make this thing an easy 21k column. It does add some power to the deck because it is really needed. Meer is kind of underpowered. A lot of people think that it's really OP. It's really not. Your break ride loop is just breaking even. It's no better than Dauntless Drive break ride, in my opinion. And striding is still just better. So 4 of this because it fits in here just fine. And then I am running 4 of the 12k. Daria's still in, mainly because the break ride does return everything, and you get to call 2 things, so this would be a very easy card to call back down. So it's just really good with Meer. And then 3 Rika, mainly because Eternal Sister Soul Blast is 1 for the once per turn, so you do need to be building up the soul. And this is also your unflip engine, so soul charges and unflips when it's bounced back up. So that's the grade 2s. Minamo is really the only change or addition to the deck. For grade 1s, I am running 4 Duo Gorgeous Lady Kazuha. She is a grade 1 version of Roan. Roan is not in this deck because there's really no space for her, and because Kazuha does what Roan did perfectly fine. It's just in the back row and it's a boost on hit. So 4 of this gets rid of the need to have to run Roan. That way you can run Minamo in here, as well as your Unflip and Soul Charge card. So 4 is just a really good number. And then obviously, since it's duos, I am running the 4 Duo Petite Etoile piece. She's really needed in here as well, just for that draw power. This, if you manage to have 3 of these with the starter, you get a lot of cards to hand. And then 2 stride fodder just to help Meer, because oftentimes you don't want to be throwing away, like let's say you do ride the brake ride first, and you have one of these in your hand. You don't want to be throwing this away, because you want to be looping the brake ride later. So 2 stride fodder just so you can stride without having to worry about having to discard Meer too much. And then I am running the 1 Kolima and then 3 Mermaid Isle Ellie, so 3 Perfect Guard and 1 Quintet Wall. I think that's just fine. It's either going to be that or just 4 Perfect Guards. I didn't actually change that. That stayed the same. So that's grade 1s. For grade 0, I am running 4 of the new Duo Love Joker Chulim. She's the new Duo critical trigger that has an effect. It's a pretty decent effect. Another thing that it's basically like another Roan style card. Search out another copy of something that gets returned, and then you put this on the top of the deck when something gets returned, and you can counter it that way. So you can recycle this critical. Recycling triggers is a new thing now in Vanguard, mainly because Legion could do it so easily, and that they want to try to help the Stride format or Stride focus decks be able to recycle triggers as well. So they're starting to do it with these type of cards. And then 4 more critical, and then 4 more critical. So 12 critical, because you want to try to triple crit kill someone on Stride, and because you're running a Quintet Wall, you want those extra 10k shields. With so many guard restriction now, just having all this 10k shield is a lot better. And Bermuda Triangle does have a way of drawing enough with the Peace Engine, and all that kind of stuff. So 12 critical, and then 4 heal. You can run the 4 draws if you want. I was actually thinking of putting the 4 draws back just so I can draw into Meer. So I may actually change it back, but for right now, I do like the 12 critical, just because it's so much better to just double crit or triple crit kill on Stride turn. So, in early game, or mid game. And then the starter is the same, Duo Lover Signa Darling. Just this combos with Peace really well, so it's pretty self-explanatory, but you can use it with other cards just to get other effects off, like Minamo if you need to make a 21k column that turn. So moving on to Stride units. 2 School Etoile Olivia. I just only have 2 right now, but this 2 to 4 of this is fine, really. And then I am running 2 of the legendary Prism Duo Nectaria. Because it's duo, you get the duo effect, which is basically the Roan effect, where you get to, when it hits, you get to bounce something, and then you get to copy it, search for another copy of it, and put it in your hand. So it searches out Peace, all that kind of stuff. And then the remaining 2, or 1 of each, I am running the 2 Armoris and 2 of the Somni. You can run like 1 of each, and that way you can run like Blizza and Atmos if you want. But this is what I was running for now. So that's basically the deck, guys. Pretty self-explanatory. Let me know what you guys think of the Meer build. What you suggest changing in terms of grade 1, grade 2 lineup. And as always, guys, stay tuned for more Cardfight Vanguard videos in the future. And as always, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks.